Hello everyone, I hope you are well. Thank you so much for watching this launch of the first of this beautiful essential oil collection, the forest bathing around the world. It's been such a pleasure and such an enjoyment to be able to create these beautiful blends. There are 4 essential oil blends that have been incorporated into Forest Bathing Around the World collection. Now this set is a limited edition set, and I make them limited edition because sometimes it's very hard to source some of those essential oils, because some of the oils are made by small local distillers, and so they're quite precious. I've been talking about forest bathing, and I've been talking about Shinrin-yoku for quite some time now. It's something that I discovered when I was in Japan, and I think it was back in 2018, and I think when I talked about when I first launched the Aromatry book, at that time when I did the launch, part of the launch was talking about that connection with biophilia, and forest bathing is probably the most perfect way to do it. Many of us are familiar with the concept of forest bathing, yet if I asked you to put up your hand, who does it on a regular basis? I'm sure you're going, oh, I really wish I could do it more often. Now, the essential oils can provide half the solution to not being able to escape into the forest every single day, because there's been so much research into the benefits of forest bathing on our mental health, on our physical health, and on our emotional health. So it's not surprising that we use the words relax and restore. Just breathe in, relax, and restore. And the reason essential oils are so good, because when the researchers started to investigate why forest bathing was so good for our health, they realized that it was important that all our senses are engaged, first of all. So all our senses. But of course, if you are a scientist and you want to actually research, and you want to break down, and you want to investigate further, you want to come up with hardcore evidence, you have to break down as each of those senses. And the main senses that seem to be involved, that elicit the benefits, that help you feel relaxed, that help you feel restored, are what they call the phytosides. Now, guess what the phytosides are? It's an interesting term that they use, phytosides. It's really all the aromatic molecules that are emitted by the leaves, by the trees, by the grasses, or everything in nature in the forest in which you are walking through. So that's what the phytosides are. So then, of course, the researchers said, well, okay, let's use those essential oils, because they soon realized, well, it's the essential oils. Let's put people in a laboratory condition and let's see what happens. And they realized that they were getting when they started to measure heart rate, blood pressure, all the responses, the cortisol levels in the saliva and so on, they found that those people that were inhaling those essential oils that were found in the forest had similar benefits. Now, all these original studies were done in Japan, in Korea, and in Taiwan. It's so exciting. So obviously the original essential oils that were investigated are those essential oils from the trees, from those forests. Typically, hinoki would be the most common, but of course some of the other trees are sugi as well, and other plants, but the hinoki is the most common. But since then, researchers around the world have started cottoning onto this and going, hold on, maybe the forest in Australia, the forest in Canada, forest in Europe. They might have different phytosides, but let's investigate the benefits in some of these other forests. And of course, the benefits are also there. Hence, I've become a little bit more adventurous, and I've come up with 4 blends, which I hope represent different parts of the world, different types of forests. Only Nihon no Mori is very, very specific, and of course Bush Receipt, very specific to Australia, of course, being here in Australia. And so I will talk about each of the blends, the composition of them very, very soon. So there are 4 blends that are created. Boreal Embrace. Who can tell me why the origin of the word boreal? We'll talk about that one soon. Boreal Rainforest Elixir. I think that speaks for itself, like walking through a beautiful rainforest. The Bush Retreat. This is one that all of us Aussies will really, really enjoy the smell of, because it really is the smell of walking through the Australian bush. And for those who have been to Japan, or for those, our Japanese colleagues, Nihon no Mori, it is just the beautiful scent of the Japanese forest. So, they're the 4 blends that I decided to work on. Now, as I was saying, there is so much. If you do a search on all the research, just search, research into forest bathing, online search, you will find thousands of papers now, and a lot of the papers are becoming better and better quality. We're now starting to understand how long the benefits last for, how much time you have to spend in the forest as well to get some of the benefits. And ideally, if you can do this activity once a week for at least 30 minutes, you're going to get a lot of benefits, because the benefits are compounded, and it's easy. Find the local park where there's a treescape as well. But obviously, walking in a forest, wild forest, is going to always be the best experience. So I just wanted to point out that there is so much really good evidence supporting the therapeutic benefits of forest bathing at an emotional level, physical level, and of course, like even the studies with identifying, like in reducing stress, improving sleep, reducing blood pressure, potentially even enhancing the immune system, lowering inflammation. All these benefits have now been explored. Let's start off with these gorgeous, beautiful essential oils. Boreal Embrace. The word boreal simply refers to the northern hemisphere, especially the Arctic regions. So when I created Boreal Embrace, I really wanted to capture that essence and feeling of being in that, in a cold climate, somewhere like in Canada and Siberia, or Northern Europe, for example, or the beautiful forests of North America. And there's a feeling, you just can't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder when you're in one of these, forests. Even looking at the images. By the way, I did talk about the sense, when I was talking about the senses, the researchers found that smell was probably one of the most powerful senses. Second was the visual experience as well. So the researchers even showed people pictures of the forest, and they had a therapeutic outcomes by just looking at the pictures. So of course we also have the sounds as well, to experience through touch as well, the elements of the forest. All these elements are important, but the 2 most important were the smells and the actual visual stimuli. So making sure you have a lot of greenery, having images, having real plants in your house, in your office, are all going to help to recreate that forest bathing experience. Now, what is in Boreal Embrace, and what does it do? It's a really fresh green aroma. It's a smell of, it's got that really beautiful conifer-like scent. And of course, as you'll see soon, black spruce and pine are the heart and soul of this blend. When I talk about what does it do, what are some of the benefits, because at the end of the day, it's got to smell good, but you have to think, okay, how's it going to make me feel? One, with Boreal Embrace, it's going to promote this sense of being alert and focused. It's going to be quite enlivening as well. I call it energizing. I think all the blends will help you to reconnect with nature, and it just also promotes this feeling of awe and wonder. So what is the special essential oils that make Boreal Embrace? Oh, and I've got a kit here. This is where I get really excited. I think I've got to really have a smell. But these are all in 5 ml bottles, and nowadays, depending on your age, I need glasses to check it out. Boreal Embrace. I just want to have a smell of this gorgeous oil. Oh my God, yeah. It's the combination of the Siberian fir, the black spruce, and the pine that make this so divine. It's quite a rich green conifer aroma that needed a little bit of a woody undertone with the Atlas cedar wood. And then I just wanted to give it that freshness, that enlivening feeling. So I added a little bit of lemon, a bit of sage to give it that green herbaceous aroma, and juniper berry. It just finishes it off gorgeously. Boreal Embrace, it's such a divine, I was going to say it's my favorite, but they're all my favorites. So I can't really pick one favorite because I love Rainforest Elixir. This reminds me of being up in Cairns in the tropics as well, or anywhere where you can experience that beautiful rainforest experience, and the feeling of walking through a rainforest. How does it make you feel? Once again, you can feel that vibrant energy. You can almost feel, I'm feeling hot just thinking about it as well. Being in the forest, they're usually quite a warm and humid environment as well. But there's a sense of energy and vibrancy in a forest. So it's no wonder that you feel a sense of renewal and vibrant energy. It's a very interesting oil. The blend, I describe it as having a slightly fresh citrusy note, a sweet note, with a slightly floral top note, and then lingering spicy earthy notes. It's quite an interesting odor profile that it does have. It's quite joyful and optimistic, so there is some floral notes in there. I wonder what they are. It promotes a sense of optimism and hope, and I find it quite a beautiful, it's a very exotic smell and quite sensual, and of course it is so energizing. So I had fun blending this one, and of course it's hard to say what the star ingredient in Rainforest Elixir is, because it's really a combination of all these essential oils. So once again, I wanted to create that warmth, so there was a little bit of ginger in there. So ginger did a really good job at providing that warmth, and that nutmeg as well. The freshness, freshness comes from the lemon myrtle and the Mei Chang. And of course, lemon myrtle and aniseed myrtle, they tend to grow better in the warmer environment. So aniseed myrtle is like a subtropical plant. So it's a gorgeous combination of some the lemon myrtle and the aniseed myrtle being native to Australia. And then it wanted to capture those earthy notes that you often find in the forest, such with vetiver and patchouli combine beautifully to provide that rich earthy texture to this blend. And of course, I would say that ylang ylang does play a prominent role in this blend because it adds that beautiful floral warmth that you often might smell within a rainforest. This is truly a gorgeous blend. The combination, beautiful play with on smells with the lemon myrtle, with the spices, and the ylang ylang and the earthy notes of vetiver and patchouli make this truly a delightful blend. Now, for those of you that live in Australia, and that's many of you, I imagine this blend is going to evoke a feeling of nostalgia. I am sure it's going to conjure up these beautiful memories of childhood adventures in the outback, visiting families, and it is beautiful. So, and of course, it would have to have quite a few of the beautiful eucalyptuses. But the feeling that you get when you smell this, how would this make you feel? I think this scent inspires a sense of resilience and strength, and it encourages us. It gives us that courage to overcome any challenges and perseverances. That's just a feeling that you get when you envelop yourself with the beautiful aroma of the bush retreat. It is such a beautiful blend that emulates the smell of the Australian bush. It's very fresh and camphoraceous, referring to the eucalyptus oils in there. That's the way in which they're described. But of course, what does it do? It's invigorating and refreshing. It's quite purifying. It provides clarity and focus and resilience and strength. Beautiful. So what are the essential oils in bush retreat? I'd say that the combination of the blue mallee, the peppermint eucalyptus, and the lemon scented eucalyptus, they're the heart and soul of the bush retreat. A little bit of tea tree, the rosalina. Rosalina has that more delicate, almost floral note, and then just a little bit of a base note with Buddha wood, which has that really rich, heavy, almost like a vetiver, woody aroma. It just finishes it off beautifully, and just to help to tone down those beautiful eucalyptus oil. So bush retreat, I know that it's going to be a gorgeous favourite for everyone that's experienced the Australian bush. Now, at the moment, I'm using Nihon no Mori quite a bit. Nihon no Mori simply means Japanese forest, but it sounds so nice to say Nihon no Mori. No Mori simply referring to forest. This is really, I wanted to capture the serenity of the forest that often surround the temples. The temples, many of the beautiful temples are built on the outskirts of the town, so you have to drive out or catch the train out to them, and they're surrounded by the temples. It's no wonder. So whether it's Shinto or Buddhist, you will find that a lot of the beautiful temples are surrounded by the forest, because that's where the spirits live. That's the nature spirits, the spirits live in the forest. It really, I think this scent captures the heart and soul of Japan simply through the essential oils that I have used. It's one that, for me, while it's got that beautiful conifer notes, it's also got a beautiful soft woody note. So for me, it embodies the feelings of tranquility, of serenity. It can provide that focus and clarity that we need. It can be good, as with all these blends, or especially like the bush retreat and Nihon no Mori. It can also provide respiratory support as well, so help with our breathing. But Nihon no Mori is very grounding and contemplative, and it's the scent. It's quite unique and it's very different, for example, to the beautiful favourite of mine, the Boreal Embrace. It is so different, and you'll see why, because none of the essential oils in Nihon no Mori are found in the Boreal Embrace. I've actually done created, this is like the third collection of the forest bathing collection, but the first 2 times I just used those single essential oils from the forest, and I gave instructions on, you know, some ideas, tips for blending. I think if you go to our Perfect Potion website, you'll still be able to get the links to those original blogs that I had written. But this time I actually wanted to recreate these different forests by creating blends, and these are the blends that have gone into these beautiful kits. So what makes Nihon no Mori so special? I kept it simple because I've learned that the most common 2 species of woods, the trees that are found in the Japanese forest, are the hinoki and the sugi tree. And of course, you do get other plants such as kuromoji in there as well. What I like about our distiller that we use, if you go to in Japan, and if you want hinoki, it's usually just sold as hinoki oil or sugi oil, and it's a combination of the wood and the leaf. Our distiller, he actually distills a wood and he distills a leaf oil, and they're beautiful, and I like it when you can combine them together, because the extraction process for something which is quite leafy is very different. And while it's distillation, but everything is quite different. So you get beautiful essential oils. So that combination of the hinoki wood and leaf with the sugi wood and leaf just create this beautiful soft aroma of the Japanese forest. Kuromoji, I did have a little bit of kuromoji. It's a very expensive oil. It's what they in Japan, I think it's often referred to as a Japanese rosewood, but it's not from the wood at all. It's actually from the leaf. It's a small shrub, and it's got such a beautiful linalool content, high linalool content, which gives it this beautiful floral note that is very reminiscent almost of lavender. So a little bit of kuromoji in there as well, because it's often found growing in the forest close to sugi trees. A little bit of lemon here was simply added to help to balance this blend. The lemon just provided a beautiful harmony between the woods and the leaves, which it needed, and it just finished it off beautifully. There's not much lemon in this blend. It's just there to create that little bit of harmony. So that is the Nihon no Mori, which is definitely one of my favorites. I would have to say. So look, I do hope that you will enjoy experiencing these different aromas that emulate different aspects of different types of forest. You must have, I'm sure you must have your favorite little forest retreat where you like going. So you see, what we're going to do, this is something very special. We're going to say, let's run a competition, okay? And so for this competition, and it's going to be a $250 gift voucher. So it's coming up to Christmas. This is going to be a perfect competition. Please, all you have to do to be part of this competition is please post a photo of your favorite forest. Now, this is not a forest because Garrett's pretty good, and if you just download something from the internet, Garrett will spot it. You've actually we didn't say anything about that. You must be in this photo. No, look, I'm not going to make it that difficult, but if you just cut and paste something, we will know. Okay, so you're going to post it on Instagram, and just we're not looking for a big essay or anything, just a little a caption with 50 words or less. Why is it your favorite forest, and how does it make you feel? So tag Perfect Potion at Perfect Potion on Instagram, please. We're going to have 4 winners, and I think we've got the date. The conditions you'll see them when you scan, check it out. I think we draw it at the end of November. End of the month, yeah, end of November we'll be drawing 4 lucky winners, so you get to use your vouchers just before Christmas. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing your favorite, what your favorite forest foresters, we need to spend more time to reconnect with nature. I'm going to share with you, now of course I've broken the rules, I don't have one photo, I've got several photos. I've decided to share, just to give you a little bit of inspiration, I am going to share with you and my favourite forest bathing spot in Australia. And when I do visit Japan, I'm going to take you to, because we're going to Japan one last time for the year, I will be going back to Koyasan, and we will actually do something in Koyasan. So I will show you my favourite part of the forest in Koyasan. But Minjarrabah, North Stradbroke Island, is definitely, for people that live in Brisbane, it's probably southeast Queensland's best kept secret. And the reason is you've got to catch a ferry across to the island. So there are walks that you can do along the coastal region. So you catch beautiful expansive views of the beaches. That's referred to as the Gorge Walk. I love doing the Gorge Walk as much as the picture on the right is the beautiful, it's like an inland bush walk. And that to me is, I feel such a beautiful sense of calm. I feel like these trees are like just watching over me and protecting me. And of course, that is definitely for me the smell of the bush retreat. When I smell bush retreat, I'm taken back to this beautiful space here. So I've just thrown in a few photos along the way, but that's at the beginning of the Gorge Walk where you see the kangaroos. So you're welcomed by the locals before you take the walk. But the eucalyptus is just beautiful and majestic. And the best time to go for a walk, I think, is when there's a bit of like, it's still the sun's just coming up in the early morning. I think you get to smell everything more at that time of the day rather than going in the middle of the day when it's really hot. I think you get a feeling of why I love this particular walk. And the vegetation does change. We tend to look up all the time, looking up in awe, but I look closely at the trees, and this is where I love to touch, for example, where you have resin oozing out. Now, of course, this is not this is like more a launch about forest, the launch for these beautiful forest bathing oils. It's not a lesson on forest bathing. But of course, one of the things that you should avoid doing is being distracted by your phone or any technology when you do true forest bathing. So you can see here the beautiful resin weeping out of this particular tree. And of course, when you look down, you'll be surprised and in awe and wonder of all the interesting like insects that you might see crawling around, all the fungi that are growing as well. It's just absolutely magical. And then of course in places you'll get this beautiful moss, something that you don't see too much in Australia, especially here, but in Japan, a lot of the actual walks, you'll see a lot of moss. It's because it's an important feature around the temples. So this is, you don't have to send all these photos that I've just shown you, but I did want to share with you my favorite forest bathing forest here in Australia. So do remember that with this beautiful collection of forest bathing essential oil blends, we have just for only a couple of days, our beautiful Shinrin Yoku forest bathing room spray. It smells beautiful. It's, oh, where is it? And you can actually see, I think this is Lucy, just loves these essential oils, and she's often doggy la la land enjoying the smells. But that Shinrin Yoku room spray, I forget how beautiful that is. It's actually quite a different blend because it's got rosemary, it's got the fir, it's got some cedar wood. But if anything, this would be closer to the gorgeous Boreal Embrace. Look, thank you so much for your attention. I do hope that you will enjoy the forest bathing around the world with this beautiful collection of essential oil blends. Please, thank you so much, and please take care. Thank you.